You.
Right.
How you doing, mate?
Oh, to you.
I'm all right, mate.
Good stuff.
How's everyone holding up in the lockdown then?
Trying to keep busy.
Forward. Keep busy.
Yeah, it's like everyone's. Well, the gardens are perfect, aren't they?
I've never done so much gardening in my life as I have. Like the last few weekends, it's been unreal.
Yeah, tell us about it.
At least the weather's been good though, as well. To be fair.
I've had
Yeah,
bigger.
we've had a good week, to be fair.
Yeah. Have you done much prep then?
Oh,
I've done bits and pieces, but nothing major.
Have you seen Kurt? I don't reckon Martin's seen your hook length box. To be fair, Kurt.
Oh, let's give him a treat. Has he got his glasses?
I've been so looking forward to this.
Are you ready? These little pins here. Have you seen these rig sticks before?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Well, I've took these rig sticks. I'll take one out, and I've got these 15, the 15 and 12-inch ones, and I've melted a little coax pin into them, so you can get 2 hook lengths onto one rig. Made a nice little setup there, and I've done for the 12-inch ones as well. These are pre-tied 911 F1s. So they're all tied in there, and they fit perfectly, those 2 sets, but those 2 didn't. So again, put the pins in there.
Who makes them pre-tieds, Kurt?
They're the Camazan 911 F1.
Oh, it's Camasan themselves that make them, like.
I think it's Drennan.
Oh, it's Drennan.
I think so. They're Camazan are owned by Drennan, so I presume they're on double strength line.
Yeah.
Have you got the patent for it, Kurt?
Not just yet, Mark, but we're working on it.
To be fair, that's really handy though, isn't it? Because you're having to carry like 1 hook length box and twice the amount of hook lengths in it.
Yeah.
And
It doubles it up perfectly, just using 6-inch or 4-inch.
But it seems to me like Preston must have made that box too. Each one of the things must be too big, because if he can actually fit 2 lots on there, then
only on these bigger ones though.
Okay.
If you use the 6-inch sticks, you can't. They've not got the width to fit the pins in.
Ah, right. Okay, I'm with you. It's only because they're double wrapped round then. That's why.
Well, no, not so much that. It's more the actual the diameter of the width of the stick, because these ones are thicker in width than the 6-inch ones.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm with you.
I can squeeze a pin into these, but you wouldn't get a pin in onto the 6-inch, the standard 6-inch one.
Because Jamie asked me about this, about hook length boxes a couple of weeks ago, didn't you, about what ones I use.
I've been using like the wooden one for years and years. But
it's beautiful.
You're carrying it around, they're too big, aren't they? You can get loads in there.
Am I right in thinking that the wooden hook length, I mean, I've had them myself, but am I right in thinking it originated because of the smaller pins?
Yeah. There's loads in there. You could say, we've just emptied this one out, but
yeah,
you can get literally hundreds in there. But the problem is, even though these pins are glued, when they're glued in, if one comes out and you've got a pin full of hook lengths, the whole lot pings out everywhere.
Yeah,
There's a lot, but it's the size of them as well. You need, I know you can get small.
Yeah, a few with them,
but they're good. It's
they're brilliant, I swear.
They are good.
I've got the guru myself.
Yeah. You see, I've had both of them hook length boxes, and that Preston one is like the newer version of the ones that I use. So I'm using the old ones. The reason I like these is because you can actually get 3 of them on top of each other.
Yeah, they're quite slim. The Guru ones are a bit bigger, the pins are a bit bigger.
And that's why I sort of was a bit reluctant to change to the others. And the Guru ones, like, they're really thick for what they are, But what I would say is that if you're buying Guru hook lengths,
Yeah, that's what I do. Just buy the Guru hook lengths.
yeah, well, if you're buying them, they fit in there perfect, whereas they don't fit in that box. They're too big.
No.
They're just a little bit too big, like, so.
That's how the pins came about.
Yeah.
Because I was using them pole specials, and I thought, how am I going to get them into there? And I sat there looking at it, and that's actually how they came about, to get the 8-inch pole special onto one of them, the pre-tied.
I don't know. Okay.
Go on.
I was going to say, I don't know, like the Guru ones, where you actually put the hooks on. Is there like just shot there? These ones have got like a bit of I don't know how to explain it, like a bit of a bend at the top, so your hook doesn't ping off. I don't know if you can see it.
The Guru's got the side.
They sort of go backwards on themselves, like a bit of a fin.
Yeah,
like a bit like a pinhead. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the Guru ones are the same or not really.
Yeah, they're much the same.
Yeah, and the old ones have got it as well, but that's the problem with the wooden box, isn't it? Because if they come up, you end up with a load of tangled up lengths. Is everybody using spools for feeder up lengths, or?
Yeah.
Feeder. Yeah, just pretty much them pre-tied Guru ones.
Yeah.
Same here.
The spools, them.
There you go.
I do like that. I tell you what, I really like that.
It's class, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
You can get 600 hook lengths in there, which I'm currently trying to test. So, like, it's mega, isn't it? You know, 600.
Nice.
How long is that going to last you? It's literally going to last you forever. And then, like, I mean, for me drawer, I've got one of these. I just stick in the drawer, and basically I just put 14s, 16s, a spool of hair rigs, and then a spool of shock leaders. So I just put 2 shock leaders on a spool. I mean, the only problem I find ever with these boxes is if you use a heavier line, sometimes spools for a long time, you can have a problem with it twisting up or twizzling.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful not to make too many, because if they're in there 2 years, you might have problems with them when you come to use them.
You think 600 might be too many?
Well, that is good enough, isn't it?
He's prepping for the NHS, isn't he?
Yeah. So what?
Definitely the best way to store them, though, innit? It's you don't get any kinks in your hook lengths or anything. You know.
No.
You can store them on winders and all sorts of things. Oh,
What's happened there?
Kirtons.
Oh, I'm back. It came up with low battery then.
Oh, did it? Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's all that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spools are they're handy as well for say if you wanted to do everything at 12-inch.
Yeah.
You know, you can or 2 foot or what you can always cut them down, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And they ain't with that matrix box, they ain't taking up the surface area of, say, like the Guru case, the spools in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a lot more compact, isn't it?
Yeah. I like that. I do like that though. It's confident.
Them spools, I have to say, because they're a bigger diameter spool, the up lengths don't twist up as much.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes if they're too small, then you need to be a bit careful, particularly with like shock leaders and stuff. Because
I'll tell you what I have. Oh, pardon me. I'll tell you what I have started doing. After Lee Kerry, it was an article and a video that Lee Kerry did how long ago now? Must have been a while ago. And for his feeder fishing now, he uses 6-inch hook lengths. That's what he uses, 6 or 12-inch. That's all he'll use onto like a leader.
Yeah.
So your leader will be like, I don't know, say he's got a twizzle boom and a fixed rig and a twizzle boom. He'll knock up a bit of fluoro or something, say 2 foot, and then he'll put like a 12-inch hook length on the end. And if he's struggling for bites or can't hit the bites very well, then he'll change it to 6-inch.
Right.
So that's what he says he does. He just uses, and I've been doing that for a fair while myself. I don't knock up anything sort of 2.5 foot anymore. And I have a bit of fluoro. I have a long bit. That's what we're doing at Stowe as well. Just have a long bit of fluoro because it's stiff.
Yeah.
And even if you're free running or whatever, or fixed, you move your float stops up to your desired length. So you move that up to 2 foot up your line, and then stick your 6-inch up length on.
That's it. Yeah.
Quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. At first, when he said it, I thought, nah, I ain't having none of that. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute. Lee Kerry's a billion times better angler than you are, so just listen to it. And then it just didn't sound right, but then it does sound right because it's no different to any other type of fishing. And he says it trims down all his, carrying a load of shit with him, basically. Pardon me French, but that's his, that's his method behind it. Whether they do that in the world champs and all that sort of stuff, I don't know, but generally that's what he says he does, and I've done it ever since. Really makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So what hooks are you using for feeder fishing, Kurt?
Well, when we go to the legendary Syndicate Lake of Stowe pool, just Guru pre-side, the pre-side Guru there, use them. And then if I'm like with Bricky's League, I use them 911 F1 pre-tied, and I just cut them down to 6 inch. But I'm trying out them SFLs now as well.
Yeah, I do envy you with that, like sort of, buying pre-tied hook lengths, because I used to buy some off a guy called Graham, a company called Graham's Hook Lengths, and they were really good, but it's so easy, isn't it? When you just buy pre-tied hooks, you just go out and you just fish. You ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah. Well, in this box, I mean, let's have a look at this box. It's got, well, it says what it's got on here. It says 6-inch SFL.
Yeah.
They're pre-tied. They're straight off the peg, pre-tied.
Yeah.
12-inch 911 F1 pre-tied, and the 6-inch that I've tied myself, Preston 412.
Yeah.
Well, and I love them. I'm late to the party with them, and it was dead shit that was because I never really thought about Preston hooks, and I'm watching them think fishing videos because I've been using the Preston for this. I use the Preston 412. It's a brilliant hook. It's a 412. I thought, fucking 412, 911, blah blah blah. I thought, and Des kept going on about the 412. So I thought I'll have a look at this 412, and I love the look of it. And they discontinued them, so I own the entire stock of whatever's left in the 412s. I love them. I think they're brilliant, and I have them on 08. They're all tied on 08 from 16 to a 22, all on 08. And then I've got the SFLs pre-tied. And what I do is I tend to start on an SFL. And if it was really old or whatever, I'd just drop down to one of my 08 really light gauge 412s.
Yeah.
And if I was fishing the Waggler, which we do occasionally on the Silvers League, then the 911 F1, perfect for that, pre-tied. And I'd just cut one of them down to 12 or 6 inch for the feeder. So that box will do my old Silvers League. That's it.
Yeah.
Just one box, and that'll do pole, feeder, Waggler, whatever. Job done. But I have, in the lockdown madness, tied up some SFLs myself to 010 and 08, just because I had no better to do. So I knocked them up. So, see if and me thinking behind that is because the ones that the pre-tied ones are to a bit heavier line. So I'm going to do the experiment where I'll use a pre-tied off the peg and then see if I can get more bites on one of my own lighter ones, but yada yada. But what are you boys using?
What about you, Jay? Go on.
What for, like natural feeder fishing?
Yeah, for feeder fishing. So hook length, size, and hooks.
560s or
Beautiful.
where the barbs are allowed.
Yeah.
To be honest, my favourite hook is barbless, but B611s. I've used them for, I don't know, 20 years. I use them for carp fishing. I use them for roach fishing, bream fishing, on the river, on the canal, everything. I got them down to 24s, up to size 14s.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I tie them on, down to 06 up to 020. So what?
Are they a really fine wire, Jay?
No, I'd say they're quite thick, really. I don't know, I just like them. Just never.
Is it the same? Is that the one that's the same sort of shape as the 511 but stronger?
Yeah, it's stronger. It's just thicker.
Same shape, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly the same shape. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but
I remember them.
exactly the same. But the 511s, that's the microbarb version. But I use it as barb as well when I go away and where I can use barbs, obviously. It's fantastic. Very rarely get pulled out, straighten, stay sharp. They're great.
So you use M611s for commercial fishing as well, Jay?
Yeah, all my commercial silver fishing, pretty much most of my light carp, F1 fishing.
Yeah.
Even on the feeder, like if I was going to Boston or something like that.
Yeah, where
skimmers,
barbs,
fishing maggot. Yeah, I just use them.
What about you, Mart? You're the pre-tied guru, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just using the guru hooks all the time now. To be honest, I haven't got the time or patience for tying my own hooks.
I know, yeah.
So occasionally I do, but not very often. So most of the time it's just those I'm using.
Brilliant, though, isn't that?
Yeah, they're cracking. I mean, I've never had a problem, even for the commercials, for all the 6-inch hooks, the different types of guru and that. They're fantastic.
What hook pattern?
As well, the feeder, I cut them down to 6-inch. I use them for perch on the canal as well, them guru feeder.
Yeah.
Brilliant perch hook for on the pole. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I haven't had problems with them, anything like that. So happy days.
Yeah.
What pattern are they, Mark? Those ones? What like model are they? Are they barbless? Are they barbed or what are
they? These are microbarb, these are.
Microbarb, yeah, the LWGF.
Yeah, the LWGF, yeah.
Brilliant.
So, like, I've never had a problem with them. And I've actually done all right on start with them, so.
Yeah. Are they similar to a B560?
Yes.
You know,
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good hooks.
Yeah,
lightweight.
The 560 is probably finer, a bit finer.
Mm.
Yeah. But I tell you what, Goffy's the Matrix man. Have you ever used them pole special?
Do you know what? Matrix like terminal tackle, I've used very little of, apart from one or two of the feeder styles. But with hooks specifically, I've been glued to the same hooks for so many years now. Like, I use 560s the same as Jay for feeder hooks because I don't think there's a better silverfish hook. I think they're so good. And like you say, a lot of the other manufacturers who do a good silverfish hook, they're trying to copy the 560, I think. So
yeah.
You know, so there's that. I mean, for commercial fishing, I mean, for canals, 511's the same as Jay. And then for commercial fishing, so maggot hooks, I'm using 911s, which again, tried and tested.
Brilliant hook. They do a Teflon one now as well, don't they?
They do, yeah, they do. So the only other one that I use that's like for bigger baits on commercials that's a bit different to a lot of other people is the Tubertinis. So I use a Tubertini Bronzato 175 hook.
They're really strong, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like a super strong hook for proper big carp down the edge, fishing baits like corn and meat and things like that. The only thing with them is the numbering system on them doesn't match our British style of hook size. So,
yeah, they're like bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, so like these are the number 3, which is equivalent to about a 14. Number 4 is about a 12. So I just have to like label them up myself because otherwise I forget. I can't.
Prego.
Yeah. So yeah, and to be honest, that they do everything then for me. If I'm ever in need of like a barbless feeder hook, then I'd just use a 911 because I think that's as close to a 560 as you can get. It's virtually.
Yeah, it is. If you had to use one hook, this is to have like what, and we say, yeah, one hook can't be barbed for all types of fishing. What would it be?
Oh, I've got two here. Hang on.
I think for me it'd have to be a B911.
Yeah, we're going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
because you do everything, can't you?
Yeah, it would do everything.
B611, definitely.
Or the 6, yeah.
To be honest, my favourite hook of all time, it's a bit of a beast, but I love them.
Yeah.
That's all.
Boy, yeah.
I used to use them all the time.
I wouldn't use them for roach fishing, but I use them for loads of my bream fishing, tench fishing, when we go away to Holland. Fantastic hook. Never ever straighten one out.
No.
Brilliant.
People say the straight. You used to hear people straightening out 911s, and I thought, how could you straighten one of them out? I was like, there must be fishing. There must be fishing like ridiculous to be straightening one of them out. I don't get it, but I don't do any like commercial, carp fishing out anymore. But that one up, I mean, there's sharper now with Preston and Guru do far sharper hooks. But that'd be the one I'd use all round. I'm going to have to plug in some charge here. I don't want to upset the cat. She's sleeping, so I'll get myself onto this part of the setting and plug myself in. Typical, isn't it?
I've got to ask, like to Jamie. Me and Jamie are always having this debate about changing your hooks, how often you need to change your hooks, whether they go blunt. So while the two of you are here, I'm interested to hear what you think on the subject, because I'm a big advocate for changing my hook maybe like, I don't know, twice an hour when I'm fishing a match or something like that.
Right, okay.
Just
Is that what you got 600 hooks in?
Yeah.
No.
He's a very poorly man. Is what I reckon you've got COVID talking like that. Have you got temperature? Check his temperature. Someone check his temp.
Yeah.
I can see your point. I can see your point on the feeder.
Yeah. On the feeder. I'm talking about on the feeder.
Yeah, dragging around on the bottom and all that, and debris but. If I was missing bites, I'd change it. But generally, them gory feet things don't half keep sharp.
Yeah.
So you don't really. I just, if I felt it were getting blunt and more, I don't know with a feeder. I'd be better posed to answer that on the poll. If you think I'm missing that, or I've pulled out of that or something, then I'd definitely change that. Definitely. But I suppose on the feeder, that the same principle, but it's easier to tell on the pole. Does anyone sharpen their hooks?
No, never done it.
I remember when we were juniors, and a certain England feeder international's father, Mr. Pete Wharton, used to coach us. I mean, he's not fit to push Rob's barrel, but he's a good angler in his own right and a good bloke. And he was an advocate when we were kids of sharpening hooks when the point went, and he was a careful man, financially a very careful man. But I remember him going on about it years ago, and he showed us how to do it at one of the teachings with a stone, like a sharpening stone. But I couldn't perfect the art, so to speak. But it was interesting in passing that on, and I bet a lot of anglers of his era probably, how many of them would have carried on fishing where your better anglers would have gone, oh, that's a bit blunt, I'll sharpen it. Because money was a lot tighter back then, and hooks were probably a lot scarcer. So, a bit of an art. But I know the carpers do it, but I've not seen like match anglers do it do it before, but maybe
sort
it's
of stuff.
scope for a product there.
Yeah,
Or might not resemble bookshop now.
I find that dead interesting, like that sort of stuff. Like I'm always on about it to Jay, like these sort of old school arts and things like that. And some of it is getting lost a bit, isn't it, in the sport? Like, and it's a good game.
Well, I'll tell you another one. One of me, I don't know where my battery's going here. One of my mates who I work with, like one of my best mates. His dad was in the Likely Lads, a guy called Brian Dexter, and his brother was a really good angler as well. And as a as a result of that, he can't stand fishing himself. He was the youngest out the lot, and I'll go on about prep and stuff, and he'll go, "Oh, I can't be doing with that tying hooks." And he goes, "I used to remember," he says, "my dad and my brother," he said, "would be there Friday night round the kitchen table," says, tying hooks up. But they'd have them under a magnifying glass. And here's an interesting one. He used to put a little dab of super glue on the knots on the shank with a cocktail stick.
Yeah.
And that's something I'd never heard of up until that point. And then you mention it to people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I do that, or I did that, or whatever."
Yeah.
So that was
I used to fish with an old chap in a club years and years ago, and he swore by it. He used to tie his hook on by hand, like real old boy he was. And he just used to fish like 5-6 meters wherever he went, same bait, same flow, everything. Just tie his hook on by hand, big up. And he always used to dab a bit of super glue on. And he used to swear by it, but I always think, does it go brittle in the water, and does it damage your line and things like that?
Would it degrade the line with the properties of the glue? Would be my first instinct. But I mean, this guy, like I say, my mate's dad was, he was a Likely Lad. He's in the Ivan Marks book. So good, very good actor in his own. And whether it's something that Ivan used to do or they passed around all of them, but like you say, there's a lot of stuff that the old boys used to, and you still get all them old boys now. And like you say, that bloke at 5 meters, I bet he either bombed or won. Yeah,
That's
he
right.
bombed out or he won. You'll see them do the same thing, but they do it well. I remember a few of them like that. And you see them, fishing, and they're like, they're either bombing out or winning. They just stick to what they do, and they're good at it. And I respect that.
Yeah, I think that's it's awesome in it when you see somebody like that, and they've got one method, one approach, and it's either going to work or it's not. And if it works, it can make the man next to him look really silly.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
I remember fishing a match a couple of years ago at Baldings with Paul, and there's a guy there called Harry Colley, and he's absolutely famous for just fishing corn down the edge. And he'll feed like 10 tins of corn down the edge and just fish corn and do nothing else. And he's sat opposite me on this match, and like I think I've had about 40 odd pound or something like that. It was pretty hard in my section. And he's like literally sat opposite me on one line all day down the edge. He's chucked 10 tins of corn down the edge and caught like 240 pound.
Yeah.
It's just nothing he can do. He's in that scenario. There's just nothing he can do.
Used to have, along the lines of that, used to fish with a bloke called Baz Cox, that I used to fish with. Still keep in touch with now. A proper character, right. Very good angler, very good commercial angler. He kind of drifted out a bit for whatever reasons over the years, but he's back into it now, mainly because of the Glebe. And I used to watch him in some of the club matches we'd fish when he started getting back into it. And I used to call it the snooker cue method. I used to give him some stick. So what are you doing there, you daft git? I says, you look like you're playing snooker. And he'd have like a top 2 and he'd have a number 3 in the air, and everyone would be starting out on these. It was mainly summertime. Everyone would be starting out on these commercials, like chucking a feeder or doing whatever. And he would fish the whole match in the margins. And I remember him starting on one lake we went on, which this Peggy drawn was a no-opener, had no form or anything. and he come away at about £96 off it. And that's all he did. But he was absolute genius at the margins. We went Toftwood, and he was on the other side of the lake. And he speaks like this. He goes, "Here, kid." He goes, "Look at this." He goes, "This is where you want to be fishing." And he stuck his hand in the water. He goes, "Undercut banks," and he puts his hand under the back, and he come out with a carp. He actually had a carp. He caught a carp in his hand. He goes, "That's how you catch." He's got a pound carp in his hand. And I said to him, "Mate," I guess, "that's how good Baz is in the margins." I guess he can even catch it by hand. But this was years ago, and he explained to me, like, he says, these undercut banks, I don't know what he was on about, because I kind of, when I started fishing again about 10 years ago, the commercials were a new thing to me. And he says, always go in, he says, "Stick my landing net underneath." He goes, "What do you mean underneath?" I said, "What do you mean? What are you on about underneath?" He goes, "Come here." And he put, obviously as we know now, but he stuck his landing net and he's gone like a bloody, he's disappeared, his butt section. Because where you're sitting on the platform, that bank's eroded away, and them fish are sitting underneath, basically your knees, where your knees are, and then there'd be loads of them there all match. And that's, he perfected the art. He does really well on the bomb now, just bomb and pellet. People give him a bit of grief about it, but he was, like you say, he's one of them mindsets, of that one mindset angler, and he'll go to win and he'll go to do what he does. And he now does what he used to do on the margins, on the bomb, which is, he's just got that mentality of, that one thing. I suppose that's it. That's the thing to have in match fishing. You know what I mean? But kind of, I just like the crack. Sometimes I get into it and take it serious, but it's nice to see the lads and have a crack. But definitely a lot to take from.
The other thing, it all depends on the scenario, doesn't it? Because if you're fishing, like if you're team fishing, then you're going to be fishing for bites. If you're fishing where you've got a good chance of winning a section or something like that, then you're always going to think about maybe you might play safe. But if you're fishing open matches, 9 times out of 10, you're going to try and win the match. If you think it's possible from your peg, you've got to fish to win, haven't you?
You have really. So, I mean, again, it's something I could do with putting my head into a bit more. If I could be kind of more arsed into it. But that is, you're right, that is exactly what you've got to do. You've got to go there. If you're fishing a match, like you say, individually, there's no point trying to finish second, is there?
No.
You've got to try and win, ain't you? That is the thing. But I suppose it's like people, I'm guilty of it, everyone is. You don't want to kind of bomb out. So you kind of think, well, I'm very guilty of it on the canal all the time. I just, sometimes I do all right and I'll have a drag every now and then, but most of the time it's, I just play it safe now, just take it steady and hope that a bonus comes along, when really you should be kind of, attack. And if you bomb out, you bomb out.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, yeah.
I definitely think you'd pick up more over, if you spread it over the course of a year, okay, you'd blank more, but overall, I think you'd win more if you went in the sole mindset of, I'm fishing this to win, or I know I need, or even if you're going for your section, I know I need £5 here.
Yeah.
£3 ain't an option. I'm fishing for £5.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do what I know can get me a load of pairs of eyes. I'm going to target specifically better fish, and I'm going for £5. So if I don't get £5, it's not worth it. No. I suppose that is the way to be.
There's a lot of psychology to fishing as well. I think the people around you, whatever's happening, if you sit down and you're positive and all the rest of it, I do find you have a better day's fishing, and I don't know why that is.
What if you've got Nigel Brailsford next to you? Then what?
Yeah. Well,
what do you do then?
Sometimes you draw, and sometimes you don't. You could.
He could outside you, couldn't he? He could outside. Imagine Nigel like qualifying for like a Fishermania final or something like that, and being next to Ringer or anyone like that. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it would. It'd be class.
Talking about the match.
I'd love to see it.
Right then, gents. Well, I think we're coming up to the time limit on the old Zoom chat. So, but it's been good. I think we've had a good chat about hooks and that. And
she's, as you can see, she's found it riveting.
yeah, I think. Do you know what? There's a lot of. I mean, you watch on YouTube and all the rest of it. There's a lot of people posting just a lot of these sort of discussions and conversations, and I think it's really important at the minute for all of us just to keep in touch, keep contact, and just be a bit like.
It keeps you sane, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, Mark. I think without it, you'd just go mad, wouldn't you? Sitting on your own in the house. So, yeah.
Especially if you live, especially like just making an example. Not me, like, but if you lived on your own with your cat, you know what I mean, and you start sort of having conversations with her, but in your head she's speaking back. Yeah. You got to be aware. You got to be aware that could happen.
Yeah.
It's not happened to me yet, but it could happen.
Nah, brilliant, lads. Right, thank you. And
all right.
Yeah, we'll chat soon, everyone. All right, we'll
do.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.